Hello, welcome to this video. Today we're going to go over the books that I read in November. I have the last few months been going over the books that I read and then the next month's TBR, but we're going to break them up today because I'm going to do a month-long December readathon, and I kind of want me picking my TBR to be a separate video because I feel like it could take a little while because I'm going to go through all of the prompts for that readathon and try to pick a book for it. Chances are I won't read every single book because I think there's 10 prompts. I don't know that I'll be reading 10 books in December. We'll see. Anyway, for November, I only read 4 books, which isn't much, but I was trying to participate in NaNoWriMo, which went okay-ish. I ended up writing 28,000 words. I might put up a NaNoWriMo vlog. We'll see. I feel like I didn't really get that much footage, but I'll look back and see. Sometimes it's more than I think it actually was. But it was a lot of fun. I definitely didn't hit 50,000 words, but to be fair, I did get a concussion halfway through the month, and then shortly after that I got sick with what was probably the flu. And so I kind of had like a rough week and a half that knocked me out, and I didn't really get a lot of writing done. And then I also went to California for a friend's wedding and didn't have time to write while we were traveling because we were traveling with friends. So that said, I think for myself, I had set myself a goal of 25,000 words as a realistic goal, and 50,000 words as my goal. And you might notice I am wearing a Christmassy shirt because today is the first day of December. So why not break out a tacky Christmas sweater? Also, I have an event at work and we were told to wear Christmas attire. Anyway, let's get into the books that I read. I'm gonna roll my sleeves up because it's kind of warm in here. Okay, so the first book that I read this month was Frankenstein. I started this in October and finished it this month. I did enjoy this, and it was definitely a lot different than I was expecting it to be. I guess in my mind, I have like an idea of what Frankenstein was before this, and it was not that, which isn't a bad thing. Like I did actually enjoy the way that the story was told. For some reason, I thought that it was going to focus a lot more on the creation of Frankenstein's monster and not the mental toll and what Frankenstein's monster does. And I don't want to say a whole lot, but it is an interesting read. I talked to a couple friends that thought it was kind of boring compared to what they thought it was going to be, but I don't know. I thought it was interesting and I gave it 4 stars. The next book that I read was Blood of Elves, which is one of the books in the Witcher series. I watched the first, 2 seasons of The Witcher, and now that they're changing actors for Geralt, I don't know if I'm going to continue. So I decided why not read the series so I can find out what's happening. I do think that the way that the book's written is a little bit choppy, I guess. Like from chapter to chapter, you're kind of jumping around a lot. And so I understand now why the TV show was the way that it was, because that also confused me in the first season because it was kind of all over the place. But I get it now after reading the books that is also how the books are. I did enjoy it though, and I gave it 4 stars. This is probably more of a 3.5. I don't know if maybe I enjoy it more because I've seen the show and so I already had a connection to the characters, because I talked to a friend who had read it previously and she wasn't a fan. So I don't know. It's It's an interesting one. The way it's written is... Can you stop? Okay, I had to kick my cat out because he's just messing with anything and everything he can find in here, and it's very distracting. So the next book that I read was, again, one that I started in September or October, I don't remember, and that is David Copperfield. I do have a physical version, but I mostly listen to it as an audiobook. I think I also gave this 4 stars. Either 3 or 4 stars. I think I probably rated everything 4 stars. Again, this is maybe 3.5 to 4. I do want to see if there's a David Copperfield movie because I feel like I understood what happened, but sometimes having a visual representation is oh yeah, okay. And then it cements those ideas together. I did enjoy it, but because it is kind of an older writing style, I will say it took more focus from me to be able to pay attention and understand and comprehend what was happening in this book. But I do recommend it, and I do think it was interesting. I would like to read more of Charles Dickens because all I've read aside from this, I think, is A Christmas Carol. So I feel like I should probably read more of his books. And the last book that I read is One of Us is Back. I listened to this one as an audiobook and I gave it 4 stars. This is the 3rd book in the One of Us is Lying series, and I don't really want to say too much because it'll spoil what happens in the previous 2 books, but you basically have this town. I would say, to me, it feels like A Good Girl's Guide to Murder almost, except I do think I prefer that series to this one. I don't really know why. To me, it feels like the mystery is maybe a little bit more believable. I feel like in this 3rd book, the person's incentive was there and it made sense, but there was like one thing that they did. I don't really want to say what it was. Well, it's early on. So they hack a billboard and they say, "Do you want to play a game?" And in the previous book, the whole thing is that this person starts a game and people end up dying from that game or whatever within this high school. And so they're like, oh, is that like, you know, the person's referring back to that game, which feels way too soon. And people think it's like a marketing ploy or something. And the way that a character manages to do that doesn't feel realistic to me, knowing about like corporate policies and working in a corporate place. Like, I don't know, it wasn't, I don't want to say it because you don't find out until like the end of the book, but that one thing to me didn't feel realistic, and it also didn't feel that necessary. Like, we could have just done without that. Anyway, the whole mystery itself, it was fun, it was entertaining, and I do feel like with these books you kind of do have to suspend disbelief in order to enjoy them, because there are going to be things that just like don't make sense. It's a silly mystery YA. They're fun, they're a good time, but are they the most realistic crimes and crime solving? No. And so I think you have to just have a realistic expectation when you go into them. But yeah, I did overall enjoy it. And yeah, that's all the books that I read this month. If you're interested in the readathon that I am doing this December, it is called the Reindeer Readathon. I don't know if you can still sign up at this point because I think the deadline to sign up is November 30th because you get sorted into different teams. More on that in that next video. But you can always join next year. I have not done this before. I randomly found it yesterday because I wanted a readathon to do this month and was like, why not? Let's try it. So I will see you guys in that next video. I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Bye.